take in the information and learn. With the grit to overcome challenges and resilience to make the tweaks over time, you have everything you need to turn your passion into success. Because what is passion, guys? What is passion? So passion obviously is showing, right? Or caused by a strong feeling or a strong belief, right? So wouldn't you say if you go deep on your goals, family, fitness, finance, faith, if you go deep over there on your goals, don't you think you have a passion, strong feelings, strong beliefs in yourself, in your relationships, in your finances, right? In your 4Fs, you have these strong feelings, which lead to strong beliefs, right? And so now you have your passion. A lot of you continue looking. I've met people, seriously, that go around and go around and go around and go around and go around, saying they're looking for their passion. Josh, I haven't found my passion. I don't know what my passion is. I don't know. Well, you just got the keys to that passion, and that's the 4Fs. That's going deep. Going deep for you. And this is for you. This isn't for me. This isn't for Brad. This isn't for Tanya. This isn't for freaking Sean. This isn't for Donna. This is for you. This is for your family. This is where you should be excited to spend your time. And I know some of it sucks. Some of it hurts when you start digging into your relationships and really like figuring out, you value them, but you've neglected them for so long. So you have to rebuild them. And when those kind of things hit you, they can hurt. They can hurt, but it's worth it. It's worth it because this is your life. This is your life. This is what you're going to wake up every single morning and go and build until you reach it. And so shouldn't you put time and effort into really understanding yourself, your family, your goals, your desires? Shouldn't you dig deep enough to where every waking moment you're up doing something that you get feeling that you're inspired to do? Shouldn't you? So you should love spending time on your goals. You should love digging deep and finding your passions, right? You should love it. And you should continue to do it over and over and over again. Because let's keep it real. With anything from sports, business, relationships, passion's the initial driving force, right? Behind the desire and ambition to create a plan of attack. But people can lose that passion without grit and resilience, right? On the other hand, so grit without passion is just the grind, right? And eventually the grind wears you down. So you also need resilience, right? We talked a little bit about that to maintain all that passion in the face of struggles and failures, right? Without all three of these traits, you could easily be tempted just to give up. So I'm trying to dig in and really show you, right? Passion, grit, resilience. With those three things we're going to be going through, right? With those three things, that is your success path. That is where I've seen so many students win, is when I see them working on these things every single day, building themselves up every single day. And I remember back in 2009, my passion was like at an all-time low. My first company, it was buried in debt, guys. We had to cut a bunch of people. We were very close to filing bankruptcy, to tell you the truth. And when I think back on that what just kept me going through that difficult time, I realized it was grit and it was resilience, right? But it didn't feel that way in the moment. What drove the passion I needed to keep moving forward was the determination to provide for my family, right? To keep my employees paid and work to ensure the previous years didn't lead to failure, because I put so much time into it. Due to past experiences, I had that confidence that time I invested, and it would lead me down to a positive path at some point if I just kept putting in the time, right? So even though the formula for success starts with passion, it was my grit to overcome obstacles, right? And my resilience to bounce back and try again that kept helping me over and over again. But I understood if grit and resilience made up my engine, right? If it made up the engine of the car, it was passion. It was passion going deep on the 4Fs that gave me the fuel to get it running, right? To keep it running, to keep it going. And it was with passion that I built my self-confidence. And it was with passion that gave me the motivation and the enthusiasm to always want to learn more, to build my faith up, right? So self-confidence lets you continue forward into the unknown. And humility helps you accept input from others that have more knowledge in a specific area. Lots of other people have come and gone before you, right? Making both mistakes, making both good mistakes, right? And bad mistakes, and integrating that feedback into new strategies. It's an important part of your success. I always say this to you guys constantly. I'm like, success leaves clues. I'm constantly telling you guys that, right? So if one path fails, you need passion to focus and stay positive, knowing that eventually your new direction is going to deliver the outcome that you hope to accomplish, right? But seriously, guys, after years of coaching and living life as an entrepreneur, it's shown me that one characteristic is emerging as a significant indicator of success in this group, around these people, everything that you see. And it's not your IQ. It's not anybody's IQ that I've seen. It's not their social intelligence. It's damn sure not their good looks, right? It's not my good looks. It's grit. It's grit. It's been said that grit is living life like it's a marathon, not a sprint, a marathon, right? But what is grit and how can it be nurtured? I think that's super important. What is grit and how can it be nurtured? So I want to roll into grit. I want to talk to you guys a little bit about grit here. Grit is obviously courage and resolve, right? Strength of character. This is important. Grit is really passion, right? Passion, your 4Fs, family, fitness, finance, and faith, and perseverance for long-term goals. That's grit. It's grit, right? Grit is sticking with your future day in and day out, not just for the week, not just for the month, but for years, and working really hard to make that future a reality. So what I found is that the more somebody works on themselves in these three areas that I'm about to talk to you about, the more success I see come their way. I want to give you these secrets because if they can just help one of you take control of your life, take back your life, give you back that pin, then it's worth its weight in gold to me, okay? So if you spent any time studying the greats in business, right, then you probably heard about Milton Hershey, right? So Milton Hershey, obviously the creator of Hershey, dropped out of school in the 4th grade, guys, took a position with a printing company only to be fired. He was an apprentice at the printer company, so he never got paid. Dropped out in the 4th grade, said, hey, I'm going to be a printer. Became an apprentice as a printer, and then he was fired. Okay, so he worked like a couple years there, was fired. And then he became an apprentice as a candy maker. And after studying that business for 4 years, he went to go try to launch his own business. So he goes to try to launch his own business. Within just a couple years, boom, failure. He totally failed the company. So what did he do? He went and tried to start another candy business. Within 2 years, boom, that candy business failed, right? Boom, same thing again. Started another candy business. That one lasted 5 years, failed. It took 20 years of failures before he got his big success with Hershey. Okay? Quit school in the 4th grade. Dude had grit. He would do whatever it took. Failure after failure, getting fired as an apprentice to go over to candy, right? Worked for 4 years as an apprentice for no money just so he could learn the skill. That's grit, right? Steve Jobs, right? Started Apple in his parents' garage when he was 20 years old. Just 20 years old. Gets fired from his own company at 30. Gets fired. If I got fired from my own company, I don't know what the fuck I would do, right? Gets fired, but keeps the right mindset and stays positive and goes and creates next. Goes and creates Pixar, right? Or Pixar. It's like a movie thing. But he goes and does this thing, and he grows them so big that Apple turns around and goes, holy fuck, I need to purchase that from you because that's genius. Goes and purchases that from him and then gives him back his job. But 8 years later, 8 years after being fired from his own company, right? Richard Branson, you guys know him. This dude performed so freaking bad in school. He was put into Challenge Ed. You guys know what Challenge Ed is, right? So it's like, obviously, it says itself, so I'm not going to explain it. But Challenge Ed, so he's put into Challenge Ed as a child. Once he graduates, though, he starts putting his own grit. So he didn't do good in school, obviously. He sucked at school, hated school, wasn't good there, put into challenge ed, treated like a retard, to say the least. But he gets out of school, and instead of going to work for somebody, he immediately starts a magazine. And he works his ass off in that magazine, slowly growing it, slowly putting time into it. And then as soon as he gets that up and it can kind of run itself, he goes and then jumps into a recording studio. He builds a recording studio, starts to build that up, right? And then you guys all know about his airline, right? Virgin Airlines. But he's now the 4th richest person in the United States. Goes from being a challenge ed student to being the 4th richest person in the United States. In the United States. Okay? And when going through and talking, when they talk grit, if you go and research any of these guys, and when they talk grit, these are the things that they talk about. I want you to grab a pen, because I think it's super important that you write these things down and work on these things in your life. And the first thing that they talk about is when you have grit, you have to have courage, right? So we take so much of our strength and resilience for granted. Courage isn't about being a battle-ready soldier, right? Some days there's courage in saying tomorrow is another day. I'm going to get up and I'm going to give it another go. I'm going to go back here and I'm going to try kicking off Facebook ads. I'm going to try another website build. I'm going to try picking up that phone one more time, shooting one more screencast. I'm going to get in here and give it another go. That's courage. Some of you feel like you're only courage is only when you're successful. No, courage is when you get back up. Courage is when you're willing to take another shot. That's it. That's what courage is. So I see courage every day inside these groups, and I see the people that are the most courageous. They're the ones that are deeply passionate about their 4 Fs. Those people are courageous. They're willing to get up. They're willing to shut door B. They're willing to go after door A and not let nothing and nobody stand in their way every single day. So you need to find some passion, right? And courage for yourselves. Trusting that whatever circumstances you're going through right now, right? Whether you got told no a bunch on the phone today, whether you launched a website build and the customer said they didn't like it, whatever that is, regardless of whether you feel courageous or not, you can find courage in yourself. If you just dig below the surface, just like you do on your goals, you will find it. If you dig deep on those 4 Fs, you will find courage in yourself to get up and give it a fucking shot, right? Conscientiousness, okay? This is what they talk about. Conscientiousness, just so you guys know what it is, it's a trait that is commonly associated with awareness, right? Typically, conscientious people are well organized, right? We're not just running and gunning. We know what we want, why we want it, and we go and get it. Every single day that we get up, dude, I have people stop by my house all the time to come talk to me. I'm so busy in my goals, they have to wait around until everything stops so I can go out and talk to them. That's how organized I am, is I don't let people interrupt what the fuck I'm doing, because I know what I want and I know how to go get it. Therefore, I'm taking those steps. Only in between those steps, when I have a little bit of time, will I stop to talk to somebody, right? So they can also demonstrate self-control, right? They plan their time very, very well, and they're all known as great team players, and they do, this is very important, they do more than what's expected, right? They're constantly doing more than what's expected. And I think that's a big one. Look at the winners inside of these groups. Look at the winners. Look at the winners in here. They're doing more than expected. If I told them to shoot 10 screencasts a day for the 30-day challenge to hit $5,000 a month, they're shooting 20. They're trying to outdo me on everything, right? If you tell them to build a list of 500 people they can prospect, they're building 1,500. They're doing more than expected. If you tell them to build 1 lead gen, they're building 5, right? That's who you need to be. That's who you need to work on being. Do more than expected every single time. And that doesn't just go for your life. You also see them doing more for their customers. They care. Like Amanda Myers cares about her customers. She does more than expected. She's in there grinding with them. She treats it like it's her business. And those people are the ones that I see winning. Those are the people that are successful in my eyes, right? And then perseverance. They all talked about perseverance. Continued effort to do or achieve something despite the difficulties, despite what you're going through, despite how you're feeling, despite failures, despite picking up the phone and getting told no, despite reaching out on Facebook and getting told fuck off, despite, they continue moving forward day after day, moment after moment. They're able to pivot and move and do whatever is necessary to achieve their goals, because their goals are deep. Their passion is deep. They want it so goddamn badly, they're not going to let anything stand in their way. So despite difficulties, they are pushing through. They are pushing through any opposition to go and get what they desire. Okay? And that's super important. Super important. So we just talked about grit, and I want to jump into resilience. Okay? So I'm going to jump into resilience and talk to you guys a minute about resilience, because I think that's obviously the last little thing is, and resilience is, guys, the ability to withstand or adjust to challenges, right? So if I had to describe this really in like one word, resilience is just toughness, right? I always say this constantly. It's one of my biggest sayings is tough times never last. Tough people always do, right? Tough times never last. Tough people always do. That's resilience. So if I had to do this in one word, I would tell you resilience is toughness. The capacity to recover quickly from difficulties, being able to pivot, be able to fail and get back up immediately, pick that phone back up, not get told no, put it down and not touch it for a week, not put up a lead gen and let it sit on the back burner for a month before you actually take it live, right? So people that are resilient are hitting failure after failure and getting back up. In general, those who are extremely optimistic tend to show great resilience, right? So the people I see in here, there's a lady, I can't remember her name, but she jumped on the other day. She shot a video of herself, super optimistic, ready to go, ready to roar, doing this for her own 4 businesses, but also for customers. But she's super, you can tell she's going to be resilient, right? She's going to be resilient because she's optimistic. She's so deep on her goals, so deep on her why, so passionate about it that no matter what, she's going to keep a smile on her face and she's going to keep dialing. She's going to keep going for it, right? So they approach life with a sense of humor, right? You kind of like, everybody's seen that video and they're like, fuck yeah, this person's like tits, right? And they're able to laugh at themselves, guys, and they're able to reframe situations and experiences to see a lighter side, right? Resilient people also tend to have a strong moral compass. Or they have a set of beliefs that can't be shattered. They've thought deep enough about why they do and what they do and why they do it, right? That they have these beliefs that if somebody comes in with a different belief, it doesn't shake them. They don't get pissed off. Democrat, Republican, this, that, this religion, that religion. Nothing shakes you when you know who you are. And these people know who they are, right? They don't compare themselves to others. They know that inside they are their own yardstick of success, right? They're measuring themselves against themselves. They're getting better every day. They're sharpening that knife. They also see difficulties as stepping stones for transformation, right? So when they see a difficulty, they don't stop. They don't fear it. They say, hey, how can I utilize this to transform myself so the next time it happens, I get through it quicker, right? And finally, they practice mindfulness. And they surrender themselves to the ups and downs of life, never letting the outside world affect their inner being. Resilience, right? Resilience. Super important. I hope you guys are getting all of this down. It's really important to get this down, okay? So obviously, guys, there's no great mystery behind having grit. There's no great mystery having resilience and passion. If you find what fires your motivation and you stay the course, if you dig deep on those 4 F's and you find that passion, even when times get difficult, the more you do it, the more chances you have to get it right. But if you quit, you lose all the opportunities to try again. Resilience only comes after bouncing back from the first failure at least once. But without any experience, the only way to know if you're just beating your head against the wall is to have the passion to humble yourself and reach out and talk to other people in this group. Stick around, take in the information and learn. With the grit to overcome challenges and resilience to make the tweaks over time, you have everything you need to turn your passion into success.